Through the first 3 games of the season, Giannis hasn't just dominated. He's reminded the NBA exactly who he is. He's currently averaging 36 points per game, 16 rebounds, 7 assists, and a block on 71% true shooting. He gave the Wizards 37, 31 and 20 on the Raptors, and a 40-piece on the Cavaliers, leading the Bucks to a 2-1 start. He looks completely unstoppable right now, and there's a reason why this might end up being the best season of Giannis's career. And it isn't because he's got no help, like some people love to say. It's actually the opposite. It's because he's got so much space to attack downhill with less traffic in the paint than we've seen in years. Milwaukee finally has great spacing around him between Miles Turner, Gary Trent Jr., AJ Green, and eventually KPJ when he returns, as Giannis has a clearer runway to the basket than we've seen in many years. So far, he's made 36 of 46 at the rim this season. That's 78% shooting, while averaging 12 made field goals at the rim per game, which is absolutely insane. For reference, most players don't even get the chance to attempt 7 or 8 because they simply can't get to the rim as much as Giannis can. With this new spacing, Giannis can basically get there at will. AJ Green is shooting 58% from deep on 6 attempts per game. Gary Trent Jr. is a career 40% three-point shooter, and Taurean Prince has been lights out off the bench, shooting 60% from downtown. This is exactly the kind of floor spacing around Giannis that makes him unguardable. And here it is in action, as the perfect spacing gives Giannis a better look at the basket and he finishes. On this one, the spacing allows Giannis to attack Evan Mobley one-on-one, and even though that is the defensive player of the year, Giannis simply doesn't care. What makes all of this even more scarier is how a lot of Milwaukee's best three-point shooters have actually been in a bit of a slump to start the year. Miles Turner is only hitting 23% from deep right now, and he's usually closer to 40%. Ryan Rollins, who knocked down over 40% of his threes last season, has started this one at just 18%. Even Gary Trent Jr., who's typically a great shooter, is sitting at just 34% from deep so far this season. That's why this floor spacing is only going to get better. Once the shots start falling at normal rates, this Bucks offense is going to be able to punish teams even better when they decide to collapse on Giannis, because those open looks are going to start dropping at a dangerously high clip, especially given this was the best three-point shooting team in the NBA a season ago. And maybe the best part about all of this is that even when the defense does send half their team at him, Giannis can still power through the contact anyway. Playing defense against Giannis in this system basically feels helpless, and it's because it is. And another big reason as to why he's getting so many chances inside is because he's handling the ball more than previous seasons, fully stepping into that point forward role. That's what's making all of this so dangerous. You can't really pressure him the way you'd pressure a traditional guard. He's way too big, too strong, and too composed. Even Doc Rivers talked about how putting the ball in Giannis's hands completely unlocks everything for the team. And here is exactly why. On this play, Toronto's trying to pressure Giannis in the backcourt, but all it takes is for Bobby Portis to set a screen, and it's basically all over at that point as Giannis has a clear runway to the hoop. It's exactly these kinds of situations that Milwaukee can also generate from getting out in transition, and that's also been a big point of emphasis so far. Here in transition, Toronto choose to stop Giannis, leaving all of the three-point shooters open, and guess what? It doesn't even matter because Giannis finishes anyway. Here, we get more transition after Giannis gets the loose ball, and I mean, what are you supposed to do with this as he gets right to the rim for the dunk? This Milwaukee team has been able to create better looks for Giannis in the paint than they've been able to do in years. But of course, the spacing isn't just good for him. It's amazing for everybody else around him because of the fact that he's so good as a player. playmaker. On this one, Giannis drives and draws 4 defenders, where he then finds Turner up top for the 3. That's a super easy and repeatable play, and here it is again, as 3 collapse to Giannis, and he makes the open pass to Miles, who's good enough to knock it down again. Now this is a play that was not happening last season. Instead of just standing around, look at Prince and Trent Jr. They're actually moving off ball, making the Cavalier defense have to work on overdrive, as Gary Trent Jr. gets left open and he knocks down the 3. Even though this one is a little clunky, Giannis gets the ball inside, draws 3 defenders, and then is able to find Portis up top for 3 and he knocks it down. On this one, the Raptors defense leaves AJ Green, one of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA, wide open. And I mean, this is such an easy read, as Giannis makes the pass and he knocks it down. On this one, Allen and Merrill get cross-matched in transition, and because Allen is so concerned about Giannis's drive, he completely forgets about AJ Green and he makes the open corner 3. Now, the Cavaliers send some late help at Giannis, but Bobby Portis has perfectly positioned himself in the dunker spot, and Giannis makes the perfect drop-off pass for the easy bucket. Inside or out, Giannis just reads the floor super well. He knows exactly when to hit the open teammate and when to just take it himself. And considering that he's one of the best finishers in league history, that is a complete nightmare for defenses. So now that Milwaukee are giving him more opportunities and basically letting him dictate everything for himself, it really shouldn't be a surprise that the Bucks look so much better. But it certainly isn't the only reason why Milwaukee are better this season. The supporting cast has also been fantastic, and even though the names aren't as flashy as some of the other teams around the league, I still think that this group is going to overachieve what the talent says on paper just because of how well everybody fits in this system. Miles Turner is the perfect place to start. His skill set is just fantastic next to Giannis. Turner is a 5-out spacer, a mobile backline partner for Giannis, a great screener, and he's able to really play effective zone defense as well, something Milwaukee wants to do more of this season. Defensively, Turner gives the Bucks more options because he's simply more versatile than Brook Lopez ever was. He's able to switch, hedge ball screens, and even come up to the level of the action instead of just sitting in drop coverage every single possession. That's going to be a massive deal in an Eastern Conference full of elite guards like Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson, and Tyrese Halliburton when he comes back from injury next season. Now Milwaukee can meet all of those actions higher up the floor instead of letting those guys walk into rhythm shots, making their defense way tougher to play against and giving them the ability to throw different looks at an opposing offense to try and keep them off balance, instead of just running the same defensive set literally every single time like they were forced to do with Lopez. Indiana showed exactly how dangerous this kind of defensive versatility can be in their playoff run, and Miles Turner was at the center of all of that. Milwaukee now gets that luxury, but in a better way, because it isn't just Turner down there, it's a partnership with Giannis. When Turner's playing higher at the level, Giannis is able to drop back and roam underneath, and if Turner is the one dropping, then Giannis is able to step out and guard in space. It's this fluid interchange that keeps both involved and maximizes Giannis's defensive instincts while leveraging Miles Turner's rim protection. So far, it's been good enough to see the Bucks sit as the 11th best defense in the league, with real upside to keep growing as the chemistry builds. And on top of that, having Turner and Giannis as your front court gives you an incredible rebounding backbone, which allows this team to consistently close out possessions. That can lead directly to more opportunities in transition, which is exactly what they're trying to accomplish offensively. And Turner has his fingerprints all over that as well. On the offensive side of the floor, the single biggest impact Turner brings is his floor spacing at the 5. Unlike Lopez, who mostly lived in the dunker spot whenever Giannis was driving the ball, Turner is constantly moving, popping out to the 3-point line after setting screens, and it isn't like Brook couldn't shoot shoot the three because he can, but it's more to do with the lack of mobility to be able to get himself from deep in the paint all the way out to the three-point line quick enough to be a dangerous threat. But Miles Turner can do this. That forces opposing centers to either step out to contest, opening up Giannis's driving lanes, or stay back and concede a wide open Turner three. Either way, that's a nightmare for defenses. Giannis does not have to deal with a clogged paint anywhere near as much as he did in previous seasons because the help defender, the opposing five, is already 23 feet from the basket, having to worry about Miles Turner's shooting. And it isn't just Giannis who benefits from Turner's presence. Guards like Ryan Rollins, Kevin Porter Jr., and Cole Anthony all thrive when the paint is clear. I saw some Indiana fans saying over the offseason that Milwaukee wasn't going to like Turner because he doesn't roll to the basket anywhere near enough. But I think they're forgetting something. First of all, he doesn't need to roll in this system. And second of all, he still rolls to the basket more than Brook Lopez did last season, who oftentimes wasn't doing either when Giannis was trying to attack. And that's not even half of why Turner has been so awesome for Milwaukee's offense. He isn't just a stand and shoot big. He's actually a functional playmaker in dribble handoff situations as well. He can flow into handoffs with AJ Green or Gary Trent Jr. and then pop open again for himself to keep the spacing intact. This is a critical change from last year when the Giannis off minutes often developed into broken down isolation sets. Now they have a clear off the bench game plan, and Miles Turner has helped this team on both sides of the floor in a really major way. And the best part about this is how it's still so early in the season. The chemistry is only going to get better from here. Miles Turner has been in a shooting slump to start off the season, and yet he's already had such a dramatic impact. So just what is all of this going to look like when he gets back to 40% shooting from three? I think that's going to be a scary time for the rest of the NBA. Through the first few games, one of the most surprising and encouraging things about the Milwaukee Bucks has been the play from their role players around Giannis and Turner. Even though Giannis is doing MVP level stuff, Milwaukee's attack looks smoother because of how well the pieces are fitting around him. Guys who cut, shoot, defend, and fill the lanes without needing heavy usage. Gary Trent Jr. hasn't exploded statistically yet, but his value is in floor spacing and defensive stability. He's consistently positioned on the weak side wing or corner, pulling defenders away from the paint. That gives Giannis, Rollins, and KPJ better looks to drive inside, and Miles Turner more room to pop. He's a movement shooter, not just a spot-up guy, which bends defenses in a way that Milwaukee hasn't been able to consistently do when he was coming off the bench last season. Defensively, he's actually been the weakest link in the starting five, which is actually more of a reflection about how strong that lineup has been on that side of the floor. Trent is competing, he's staying connected, and most importantly, his offensive gravity means that teams have to really think about if they're going to load up on Giannis or not. Then we have AJ Green, a guy who's really carved out a perfect niche for himself on this Bucks team. He dropped 20 points on just 9 shots against the Cavs, and he's shooting the ball with absolutely zero hesitation. If it finds him, it's going up. His catch and shoot release is one of the fastest on the team. And on top of that, he's been defending at a higher level than expected, becoming a legitimate two-way piece rather than just a shooting specialist. He's making himself an absolute lock to stay in the starting five. His quick decision-making, choosing whether to shoot, swing the ball, or cut back door is a massive reason to why the Bucks' ball movement looks so much better this season compared to last season's. When teams collapse on Giannis, the ball often finds this man's hands, and his willingness to fire keeps defenses incredibly honest and allows Giannis to get much better looks inside. Then there's Ryan Rollins, who Bucks fans, me included, were super high on coming into this season. And he's already making his presence felt. He had 14 points, 8 assists, and 3 steals in Cleveland. And it's pretty easy to see why people are so excited. Ryan Rollins is constantly attacking the paint hard, playing with pace, and making really brilliant kick-out reads. Even though the three-point shot, which he knocked down at a 40% clip last season, hasn't came around just yet, once that returns, his game and impact could go to another level. Where he's been really good though is on the the defensive side of the floor. And when you pair him with Cole Anthony in that off-the-bench unit, it's complete and utter chaos for opposing ball handlers. These two swarm, they pick up full court, jump passing lanes, and completely disrupt offensive rhythm. Cole Anthony has been just electric in that second unit. Offensively, he's relentlessly attacking downhill, finishing in traffic, and making sharp kick-out passes to open shooters. He gives that bench unit a real punch and pace to it, something Milwaukee has lacked before. But the scariest part is how we haven't even really seen the team at full strength yet. Apart from about 5 minutes to start the season against Washington, Kevin Porter Jr. hasn't played a full game since the ankle injury. KPJ is going to be the starting point guard for the team when he returns, and when he was out there, Milwaukee looked dangerously dynamic offensively, and they didn't give up as much defensively as you would expect either, because since he's come to Milwaukee, Kevin Porter Jr. has really been locking in defensively, and credit to him, he's been battling hard and competing. But what makes KPJ's return just so exciting is not just his fit with Giannis and Turner in pick and roll situations, but it's also what they can do when it comes to staggering his minutes. They could use him in second units at times, trying to keep the offense fluid for a full 48 minutes. He's also been one of the few players on the roster who can create a high quality look for himself, giving the team a potential bailout option when possessions break down. I genuinely believe he's going to end up being one of the most impactful players on this team. And the fact that they've already looked this good without him is a super promising sign for the Bucks moving forward. Coming up, they've got a game against New York, which may have already happened by the time you're seeing this. And then after that, they have a real test coming against the Golden State Warriors. A chance to really see what this team's made of. But speaking of teams that have showed us a lot early in the season, the San Antonio Spurs have looked terrifying through the first 3 games. They have the NBA's best defense. Wemby looks like a cheat code, and they could be a legitimate problem in the postseason. And if you want to see the full breakdown of this Spurs team, then you can check out that video right now.